Thinking back, the basis of the talk is balance, making the shift. For those people who are just arriving, we're using my book, The Divine Principle, as a sounding board to reflect to us where we think the shifts may need to occur into our life so we can reach a state of equilibrium. Fear of God. Almost everyone imposes right, wrong, good, bad limitations, and because of them, we have created a God in our own image, contriving that he is like us, but a million times worse. Illogical as this may sound, the trick we must master is to raise our consciousness up from our minds down to our heart. It's flip-flop. It's completely reversed. For there no conflict exists, only the firm foundation which you can build a more peaceful life. So we must live in the heart. How do we find the heart more accurately? To hone in on the heart, we must become aware of the ego on all levels, even the subtle levels, and what it wants from you. Or rather, you must be cognizant of what you want from others, and that's to take and not give. And be willing to change that. Be willing to change that. Even if it means to lose yourself. Because in losing yourself, you will find your real self. You will finally step into the light and out of your mirage or your shadow self by doing such a thing. I say it is not wise for anyone to live his or her life by a book, a spiritual book, any spiritual book. One should search for God, truth, under a rock if need be, for I am everywhere. All it takes to find me is the desire to do so. I often tell people, I look for truth anywhere, under a rock, as to why it's in my book. And I won't go look if you told me you saw it in such a place out of disbelief. I'm going there because I want the same thing for myself. I hear it from children. I hear it from people who don't even know that God is coming out of their mouth. I listen for it. And I extrapolate and extract the truth anywhere I can find it. If you are seeking God, why not jump into the hunt with everything you have? Very important statement here. By simply reading is not enough. For what good does reading spiritual writings do if you do not experience what you have read about? Whoever remains a dabbler will never believe that God's reality is obtainable. Reading is an excellent catalyst. It's a crutch. It's the sort of a key that can open the door. But you have to walk through the door. When the door is open and you're standing at the threshold, someone's not going to take your hand. It can be challenging. God is a very challenging idea. How do you leave your egoistic identity behind? How do you die so that you may be born? Fear of God. Knowing what I know, as well as maybe some of you. If I was to die, and I find myself, oh crap, I'm dead, I have no body. And I get to the other side, and I see a source of light, I'm going to run as fast as I can to. Because that is what I've been pursuing my entire life. Take someone from a certain background, a fundamental background, or whatever religion or sect has a particular dogmatic belief system. When they die, they're going to say, oh crap, I'm dead. And they're going to see the same light source, and they're going to run away from it as fast as they can. Nothing here has changed whatsoever, except the two ideas and the work that has been done in one's life and not the other. Creation versus evolution, the big debate. The universe is in a constant state of change. This never changes. Yet within this paradox, there is something that has to be fixed, permanent, and absolute. An anchor that moors the universe's intention, order, direction, and unfolding. That something is God, the unchanging changer. When you begin to do more internal work, your perceptions will become heightened. And you will begin to see more changes happening in your life than before. The fact is that nothing really has changed except your own level of awareness. Back before you developed it, maybe What never seemed to change was that nothing seemed to be going right in your life. But your new cognizance will alter that for you entirely. I've seen this repeatedly in my own life. Definition, again, I'm big on definitions. Evolve. Definition. One of a set of prescribed movements, a process of change in a certain direction. Unfolding, the action or instance of forming and giving something off, emission. A process of continuous change from a lower, simpler, or worse to higher, more complex, a better state of growth. Okay, here's where we get into the meat and potatoes of the divine principle. These are the divine principles. These are attributes of our Creator. And if we want to unify with Creator, that's why we're here right now. That's why we go to a church or some spiritual social event. It's because we want to come together and celebrate our life. But these are characteristics of our Creator. And when I was channeling, to use the word, this information from God, my higher self, what you're about to hear in this next reading came to me in all in one wallop. And it took me to linearly sit down and write this. I felt very informationally pregnant. Divine principle number 1. Choose not to accept defeat. This is the law of all possibilities, pure potentiality, and Godhood. Having absolute faith in yourself will enable you to see that miracles can happen to you. That is when you truly begin your life, live your life as a God aspirant. Divine principle 2. Show no intent to control, for any such attempt will defeat you. This is the law of karma, the law of cause and effect. Through this law, divine order is upheld. Choose not to place your happiness into the hands of another person. That belongs to everyone. All of us. Nor in the temporal world. The law of self-fulfillment through God, the source of all life and happiness. The law of no external idol worship. All of these is idols. Everything. Food, money, sex, alcohol, another person. This makes me happy. It becomes idolatry. Your happiness comes from within. The next principle. Choose to reach for the ideal self by turning inward to move forward. The law of observation. Learning to remember creates regeneration, expansion, and conscious spiritual evolution. Pray and meditate daily. This is the law of giving and receiving. Prayer is talking to God. Meditation is listening. When these two are practiced together, you and I communicate. There's more under this particular law, but I'll move on to the next one. Show intent to embrace, understand, and transcend your fears. The law of divinity and free will choice. Aligning with God rewards you with everlasting peace. Become fully aware of what you're thinking and feeling, for this will launch you into your mastery as Creator. The law of the I. When you are aware of awareness, you are conscious of consciousness. Take responsibility for your life. Number 8. For it is of your own creation. All of it. This is living laws number 1 and 7. It's the law of deliberate creativity. And finally, claim your part in the whole by realizing who you are. You are God. God is you. This is the law of self-enlightenment. Acknowledging God as omniscient, omnipresent, and omnipotent. The divine source principle embodied within all things. Inherent in each of these laws is the whole of the divine principle. It will take your heart to fully comprehend them because they are formless, above and beyond language. Acceptance, allowance, and appreciation should be a daily mantra for everyone. acceptance, allowance, and appreciation. All right, let's get further into the mechanics of how you start to bring about your life. How do you get involved to make those things happen? This chapter is called You Get a Power and Freedom. Back to basics. For clarity about how you ended up where you are now, it is time to check your origins and the many influences you've had along the way. To learn about yourself on a physical level, you must go all the way back to your birthplace, and your early environment. Recall your food intake, the injuries you sustained, and the illness that you've had throughout your childhood. To learn about yourself on a mental level, look to your family, religious instructors, peers, teachers, government, and the media, for they instilled in you what they thought was right or wrong, holy or blasphemous, real or illusion, possible or impossible. You see that now. That's the only thing the media is about. Program. We absorb, we become hypnotized, and we walk like zombies. We do. Like robots who can't think for themselves. To learn about yourself on an emotional level, consider the hurt, the pain, and all the fear you have been through. Ask yourself, why did I incarnate into this particular family and that particular place? What lessons did I come here to complete? Acknowledge how the tough love your parents meted out was not intended to abuse you, nor was it meant to leave you holding any emotional baggage. Instead, take into account how their discipline has been instrumental to your development. Take stock of what you're holding on to and rejoice in what you have released. Take an overview of your life, the gift of it, and the real gift of what you gain by living. See all these lessons and learn. Balance. Balance your life. To get to your spiritual roots, understand that your body is comprised of the same properties as the celestial bodies, your star parents. Begin to see yourself as a divine child, enfolded by universal consciousness, coming into your purpose, your birthright, and your divinity. Look in, out, and all about. See God, be God. What will help you is to begin to change your internal dialogue about who and what you think you are. It does not help you one iota to say things like, I'm angry, I'm mad, I'm sick, I'm bored, I'm alone, I'm poor, blah, 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 blah. All that I am stuff. Because in the I am affirming, you are. Only by your affirmations. You are concluding that this is what I am. And because of God's unconditional love, he says, here's a whole bunch of that. Understand that you are not the feelings that flood your system, nor are you the thoughts that overwhelm your mind. You are the silent witness. It's just a very small shift in balance. Just step back. Watch those thoughts go through your mind. Watch those feelings go through your body. And see that you are a third person perspective. And in so doing, you will identify that this is just moving like water moving through you. It's the ones that we select that give us importance.